Girlfriend, are you having trouble picking up the phone? Well, I want to help you get over that by helping you ask yourself, am I self sabotaging? We're going to get to the bottom of this in today's video. It may not be what you think. Hi there, my name is Ingafay, and I'm a confidence coach for home-based business owners. And in today's video, we are going to talk about self-sabotage. First thing I want to talk to you about is what is self-sabotage and how can you get over it? I'll share that with you in today's video. Then I want to share with you, why do we self-sabotage? This may not be for reasons that you think. So we're going to get to the bottom of this as well. And last but definitely not least, how do I stop the self-sabotage? I will give you some step-by-step guidance on exactly how to get over this. So now let's talk about what is self-sabotage. Well, self-sabotage is just having a negative mindset about the things that you're doing. It could also be having a low self-esteem about something that you're not comfortable with, which rightfully so, you would think, yeah, I should have a low self-esteem because I've never done this. Another thing that I've noticed with self-sabotage, it can destroy your goals and hinder you from meeting your desired outcome. So let's talk about the negative mindset first. As I talked about in my intro, the picking up the phone. I don't know why this phone weighs 1,000 pounds when it comes time for us to call a prospect. But I know many a times I have been there too when it came time for me to make that call. I'm often thinking things like, well, she probably doesn't even want what I have. She's probably not home. She's busy with the kids. All crazy negative things go through my mind. And why do I do that? One is I'm nervous about the outcome of what I'm about to do. I don't know what the outcome is. And I know when I was having those thoughts initially, it was something that was new to me. So I didn't feel like I was really good at it. So because of that, I felt like I was failing before I even picked up the phone. Have you felt that way too? That's why I really think self-sabotage has a lot to do with our desired goals. We fail in our head before we fail anywhere else. And as a result of us failing in our head, since our head is controlling everything that we do, we don't take the action to get the goals that we desire because we don't think we're worthy for whatever reason. It could be past mistakes. It could be we didn't achieve something earlier in life. So as a result of that, we feel like we can't achieve it now. All of these crazy thoughts go through our head, which hinder us from actually growing our home-based business. One of the things I can remember, I would often think these crazy thoughts when I was trying to call someone on my chicken list. Do you have that chicken list too? It's that list of people that may be a little bit more successful than you, or you feel that are maybe even smarter than you, or they have something that you don't have. And as a result of that, you don't feel like you're worthy to be able to ask them about your product or service. They may be in a position of leadership. And as a result of their position of leadership, you don't feel that you don't have the same leadership status as they do. So you feel like you're not worthy to talk to them. Or it could be as a result of them using a competitor's product or service. And because of that, you don't feel that they would even look at your product or service. But all of these things are what's in our head. These are not actual realities. This is what is going on inside of our head. This fear that we have that is false evidence that appears real, when in actuality it's not real. And and I can tell you from experience, for the most part, it doesn't even become a reality. It's just, we're just so scared to walk it out for whatever reason. Have you been there? Because I know I have. That is what self-sabotage is, and that's what it's all about. Self-sabotage also has a lot to do with a low self-esteem. You're doing something outside of your comfort zone. This is not something that you would normally do, and because it's uncomfortable, you feel like you can't do it because you don't know how to do it. You may have a low self-esteem because your inner circle is telling you that what you're doing is crazy. because it's outside of their realm of thinking, because it's not something that they would have done or even attempted to try. So in an effort to protect you or look out for your best interests, which they think they are doing for you, they tell you that what you're doing is crazy and that you need to come back and do what they're doing, because that's what they know and that's what you know. So as a result of that, you should stay in your comfort zone. Or it's just something that's brand new to you. Again, it's out of your comfort zone, but it may just be a completely new skill, something that you've never done before. I know for me, I think about that when it came time for me to build a website. I had never built a website before, and the folks around me had never done it either. And I had people telling me, why don't you just pay somebody to do that? Well, I didn't want to pay somebody to do it. I wanted to be able to do it myself. So I know through experience that when you get this negative feedback from people that have not done what you're doing or want or have reached the level that you're desiring, you have to make it a point. You can listen to what they say, but then you want to kind of block it out and know that if they have a negative influence on the things that you're doing, then those are probably not the people that you want to hang around, number one. And secondly, the people that you would want to share your dreams with. Because if they're going to just rain on your dreams, then what's the point of even sharing it with them? You want someone to encourage you and let you know that you can do it, not someone that's going to tear you down. So that's just a little food for thought when it comes to the people that you associate with. And if you're self-sabotaging, because a lot of it has to do with that negative mindset that we just talked about, as well as that low self-esteem, because it's something completely out of your comfort zone. Another example that comes to mind for me is when I first started my direct sales business, and we did what was called warm chatting. And warm chatting was just basically talking to a complete stranger. You would find something in common or give them a genuine comment about something. They could have a cute kid or some cute shoes, or maybe they had a cute outfit on, but it was a sincere comment that you compliment. It was a sincere compliment that you would share with them. And as a result of that, it would spark a conversation and you would talk to them. Now, I know that I initially when I started off, I was nervous, did not want to do that, have always been an introvert. So that was something that I had to really overcome. So I'm sharing these examples with you so you know that you're not alone, like the picking up the phone, like talking to people you don't know, even doing computer stuff when you're used to doing it on pen and paper. I totally get it, girlfriend, but you can get over this. And you can overcome this. I'm going to share with you later exactly how to stop doing this. Before I talk to you about why we self-sabotage, I want to remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll upload a video every Thursday for your viewing pleasure, and we don't want you to miss a beat. So be sure to subscribe. Click the link below so you can subscribe and be a part of our tribe. So why do we self-sabotage? Well, there's a number of reasons that we do this. One of the reasons is that we're focused on ourselves. We think about our past mistakes, and because we have failed in the past, we think that we're going to fail again. We think about our past limitations, the things that we were not able to do for whatever reason. So we think they held us back then, so they'll probably hold us back now. We also have different thoughts and beliefs about failure. We think to fail is bad. So in actuality, we have this thought process of the only way to succeed is to win, and that failing is something that you don't want to do. You want to prevent failing at all costs. We also have a tendency to compare ourselves with others. And most of the time when we do that, when our comparison is comparing our weakness to someone else's strengths. We all have our own God-given abilities and gifts and passions. And when we do that, that causes us to self-sabotage because we think we should have the same passions or strengths as Susie Q. She may be good at the computer, but we may be good at organizing. So we have to realize that everyone has their own different gifts and passions, and that we have to do what we were meant to do, what our full purpose is to do. and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same as someone else's. There are two ways that we compare ourselves. We compare ourselves to other people's strengths. They may have a strength that is our weakness. And we also have a tendency to compare ourselves to other people's failures. They may have failed in the past doing something that we're doing, and we think because they failed that we will also fail too. So I want to make sure that you realize that everybody, when they start a home-based business in direct sales or network marketing, that effort, consistency, and coaching, being coachable, has a lot to do with people's outcome. So you cannot determine your success based on what someone else did or what someone else is doing. So you want to make sure that you realize that this is your business and that you are going to do the things that you need to do to be successful. Just because Susie Q wasn't successful doesn't mean that you will be successful. Or just because somebody has really strong computer skills doesn't mean that you can't learn those computer skills if you're willing to be coachable and put in the effort. So I just want to make sure that you realize that you can do anything that you put your mind to do. You don't have to have the skills going in. If you're willing to put the effort and the time and the consistency in to learn the skill, it can be done. I can tell you I have learned so much from growing my business, from doing graphics to writing emails and newsletters, as well as building websites. And it was all because I didn't know how to do that going in, but I just made it a point to surround myself around people that had that growth mindset, and as well as putting myself and investing in my future by taking courses, engaging in masterminds, and just surrounding myself with people that were growing their business like me, like-minded people that can help you do the things that you want to do. So I'm curious, what kind of things have you participated in thus far that are income producing activities that surround you around people that are doing income producing activities as well? Comment below and let us know. Is it a mastermind? Is it a course that you took? Is it a coaching program that you in, some kind of group coaching, or even one-on-one coaching? Comment and let us know what you've done. So now I wanted to talk to you about 5 ways that I have found to stop the self-sabotage. And the first way that I want to share with you is that you learn something new every day, regardless of what it is. You got to do something that you've never done before. If it is travel a different way to work that you've never done before. I know that was one of the things I've always loved about living in another city, is seeing how the streets connected. I know I'm a geek like that. But when I did that, I was able to really understand how the city was connected. And then when I was so cognizant of the street names that it made me say, oh, I remember that street. I wonder where this takes me. That curiosity, having that element of curiosity every day, is also another key ingredient to stop the self-sabotage, because you're constantly putting yourself in new and different type of situations where you can build that muscle that, okay, yeah, I can figure this out. That's what you want to build. You want to build that I can figure this out muscle. So when you're put in situations that you're not comfortable with, that you know you have that faith in yourself, that I did XYZ before. I figured out how to get around Nashville. I can remember when I moved to Nashville, I can figure that out. So when I moved to Mobile, that it was really easy for me to figure out where to go because I was able to do it. Another thing that I want to remind you to do is, when you learn a new skill, to implement it immediately. If you take a course, if you are a part of a mastermind, if you are doing anything, you want to make sure that you're implementing the skill immediately. I know I was talking to one of my colleagues about this new program that allowed you to organize your leads. I think, well, Matt, I think about it, it was a Google sheet. And that's how they That's how they wrote down their leads and how they kept account of the people that they talked to each day. They put it in a Google sheet so they could go back and search the lead and just have the follow-up in there. And when I learned how to do that, because I was putting everything on paper, I was able to put that into action immediately. And because I did it as soon as I learned it, I remembered what they did, and then I was able to apply the skill. So make sure that when you learn something new, that you put it into place immediately. I have said this already, but I'm going to say it again. You want to surround yourself around people that are doing new and improved things as well. When you're around big thinkers, they're going to help you think big. So surround yourself around big thinkers. So be a part of accountability groups, or get accountability partners, or find people in your organization that are wanting to move up like you, if that's your desire. So when you're around those people, they won't be telling you that stinking thinking. They'll help you overcome that stinking thinking, because they'll say, well, girl, I'm doing this. I know you can do it too. So you want to make sure that you're around those big thinkers. Another thing I wanted to tell you is to only compete with yourself. Make sure that it's very important that you compete with yourself. You are yourself's competition. Like I was saying before, why people self-sabotage, because they're comparing someone else's strengths to their weaknesses. If you are competing with yourself and have the mentality that you're going to get better today than you were yesterday, then that is what's going to help you stay positive and not self-sabotage, because you'll see the small wins that you make. And as a result of those small wins, that will be your fuel to keep going. Last but not least, I definitely want you to get a coach or accountability partner that's going to hold you accountable for your goals. I don't know if I've said this, but we have a tendency to drift. The classic example is at the beginning of the year, when everybody has these New Year's resolutions that they're going to do. And by the middle of January, a lot of people have not even decided, well, they have decided they're not going to do it now because it's too hard for whatever reason. But when you're surrounding yourself around someone that you have to report what you said you were going to do, you tell them what you're going to do, and then you have to come back and say, well, did you do it? It's something about that accountability to someone else. That self-accountability, you'll let yourself off the hook anytime. But when it comes time to actually telling somebody, I don't know about you, but I know I get really like, okay, I got to do this because I told her that I was going to do it. I'm more accountable to someone else than I am to myself. So make sure that you get that accountability. So the 5 things again is: do something new daily. Apply this skill immediately when you learn it. Surround yourself around people that are big thinkers like you. Be sure to compete with yourself and no one else. And when you do that, you're going to be better today than you were yesterday. That is your measure, to do better than what you did yesterday today. And last but definitely not least is to get an accountability partner or a coach that will hold you accountable for your goals. I would love to help you transform your thoughts, which will then transform your actions, which will then transform your beliefs. In the description below, I have a link with my discovery call details. I would love to set up a time to meet with you to see if we are a good fit to work together. So be sure to click the link below if you're looking for a coach to hold you accountable and stump that self-sabotage. As always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.